He who thinks he can and he who thinks he can't are both usually right.
You have the keys to my heart. I just want to be a part of your story. Let me in. I know we're making history. Go down in books, you and me. There's always another fight, but after every tunnel is a lot. We may have lost this battle, but we can't lose the war. As long as you are by my side, no enemy can cross our lines. We are armed to the teeth, but all we want is peace.
I'll always be by your side. You're my partner in crime. Hope you remember me. No matter what the world says, we're together in this mess. You're the light in my darkness. I'll always be drawn to you, drawn to you.
I'll always be by your side.
I'll always be drawn to you.
You're my partner in crime.
I see the light in your eyes. It's brighter than the fireflies. I don't know what to tell you. All I can say is I see who you are and I know who you could be. No matter where you go, just take me. My hand in yours, your star. Only thing tie me to the thrill. All I can say is all I let go. All I can say is don't let go. Just hold your hand out for me. All I can say is, all I can say is don't let go.
Thank you for being here today. The title of today's show is Who is Sushant Singh Rajput? I would say he was a magnet who brought people together from different paths from around the globe to fight for justice. I'm excited and honored to have Smita Parikh from India, who's a dear friend of Sushant, Mr. Rahul Roy, and Mr. Karl Mehta from Bay Area as my guest speakers, along with my SSR warriors. My first guest speaker, Smita, doesn't need any introduction, but I would like to say that she is a multi-talented woman who's an entrepreneur, CEO, former RJ at All India Radio, managing director at GLK Global Events, a poetess who's a winner of Sahitya Academy Awards. Having said that, I'm sure we will get to hear some poems from her. It's my honor and privilege to welcome you today. Smita, please take it on.
Thank you so much, Jyotika. And I'm so glad to be part of this beautiful panel of, people from different walks of life. And, apart from being so busy, over there in the Bay Area, they still, are fighting each and every moment for the justice of Sushant. So from the entire family and all the close friends of Sushant, I want to thank all of you for all the efforts you're doing, since day one for this war of justice. About Sushant, just like my last interview, because we had to finish it, in half an hour, and me and Sushant were discussing, and he was like, 15-20 minutes mein kar lete hai na. And I was like, half an hour bhi mujhe kam lag raha hai tumhare bare mein dikhane ke liye logon ko. So I will, need more time. But naturally, because that particular channel for which we were shooting, it had, each episode timeline. So we finished it in half an hour, and it was most impossible to finish so many qualities and so many layers of Sushant, that I also spoke in that interview that he is just not one of the most fabulous human beings I have ever come across. He was beyond that. He was, seriously, so to describe him in just few words, it's impossible for me. He is light, his hope, his happiness. He, was just like a child, just like a very innocent child. At the same time, with such a beautiful heart and most amazing brain. So, I used to always ask him because, once he's close to you and, he's with you in his comfort zone, he would behave sometimes behave like a small kid, jumping from here and there. Suddenly he'll come, he would normally sit on the floor. I would be on the chair generally, and he would sit on the floor, and he would keep his head sometimes on my lap, and just like a kid, I would just uske sar pe aise balon mein main haath फेरती थी. बहुत कमाल का वो feeling होता था, and वो ऐसे रख देता था अपना सर like a kid, जैसे just like my son does it most of the time. So I used to always tell him कि तुमको देख के मुझे मेरे son की बहुत याद आती है. And I used to share a lot of stuff about my son, that he does this, he does that. So one day he told me, where is he? Why don't you bring him home? So I told my son that Sushant is calling you, he's inviting you. My son was like, he wants to meet me, so he should come and meet me. So Sushant, when I told Sushant this is what he's saying, he's like, oh, okay, so I'm coming to meet him. So there was one evening which we spent together. It was a beautiful evening where he came, met my son. They both, have same, lot of similar interests. Like he's also a dancer, and they both danced on "Main Tera Boyfriend." I wish I had recorded that then, but it is still in my memory. And they both were like, and he was like, it was a beautiful evening. And there are so many such evenings about him, about his heart, about his dreams. Who dreams like he did? We all think of doing certain things, out of which he finished few of his dreams. I guess 15 of them he finished. But dreams like teaching coding to visually impaired kids. Imagine, the kind of thoughts, the kind of heart he has. Work for free education, which was again very mutual, between me and him, because I was already working for rural kids in India. And that's where we had, a lot of common things for future. And, उनकी सिर्फ बात करते जा सकते हैं, and मुझे नहीं लगता, मतलब बहुत सारी शामें कम पड़ जाएंगी. Over to you, Jyotika.
So much, Smita, for sharing all the insights of Sushant. It's very, emotional for us to hear. So our next guest is Mr. Rahul Roy, as I call him, Rahul Da. He's from Bay Area, entrepreneur, industrialist, philanthropist. He's also a venture capitalist and an angel investor. And very well known in Bay Area for all the Durga Pujas that he's been doing for so many years, and very helpful person for everybody in Bay Area. Thank you, Dada, for joining me today. Please take it on.
Thank you, Shilpa. You've been always a great activist, and I thank all the participants for bringing such an important subject in this light. I had an opportunity to meet this young, blessed, coming directly from God's blessings, master Olympiad in physics, astrophysics. Can you imagine a guy who's a master Olympiad from astrophysics who wants to become an astronaut, lands up in this devilish town, Bollywood. And when I met him in the IFA ward, the witchcraft guys, I spend a lot of time in Mumbai, in India, almost 5 to 6 months a year. And I know a lot of these organizers, producers. And I met this guy, the smile was so infectious this guy had. And then the way he was being introduced, first I thought it's like a joke, they're trying to tease the guy. Then I could see in that IFA ward, it's not a joke or it's not a way to introduce such a talented artist. I could see jealousy, anger, enviousness, and I was upset. In fact, I went to the organizer and the sponsors and I made my comment, this young talented kid, and I saw his movie at that time, Kapoche. I was so impressed with this young actor and the way he was treated on the stage. I don't think that kind of a joke is appreciated in any award ceremony, the way he got treated, number one. So I want to make sure, Shilpa, the viewers, they know this is not a political platform where you bring so many things, from a different perspective, angle. This is a pure murder. I mean, from the day one, and my great friend Arnab Goswami, who's a dear friend for last 10, 15 years, I share my thoughts with him at least once a week on a WhatsApp chat or on a WhatsApp call. I mean, we believe from the day one that something very, very fishy in this. And the way this is getting exposed with Dia and all the people now coming up, I mean, people are trying to digress this into a different subject. This man was so cohesive. I mean, if you meet him, you will get a euphoria. You know, you feel like jubilant. The man with so much positivity can get into depression. First of all, you cannot buy that theory. At least I don't buy that theory. And whomever I have discussed about him, people who are close to him, they all felt that this is a special, unique, you know, divine boon kind of a personality. And that's what I think the industry was scared of. The industry, which is full of nepotism, thought that this kid from Bihar can take over all this and can bring a change. So he was a big threat, no question about that. And then comes all these other, you know, masters in this game who've been ruling the Bollywood for so many years under the influence of a lot of people from foreign land, and they want to keep the control. And this guy is breaking those controls. He's out of the norm. So we need to understand a jubilant guy like him gone from the scene, and we are here debating whether he's a suicide, whether it's a murderer, or whether it's a drug angle now. The subject is getting distorted, and I don't like that. The subject to me is a very clear. Who are these killers? We suspect few people, but they have to come out. I think what we need to do is to bring this case to an end, is to support the law enforcement out there. We need to support the witnesses who are scared to come out and show our solidarity and strength, to show that we are behind them. We have to show that this cannot become a crescendo. This has to be totally pinned down to a point where we expose these criminals. No other innocent kid of this caliber, you know, godly blessed, can be killed or taken away from the success. Thank you, Shilpa, for bringing me on. I bless you all.
Thank you so much, Rahulda, for speaking your heart out. Well, it's not just speaking your heart out, which is actually the truth. Unfortunately, a lot of people don't believe in that. I guess they're blindfolded, I'm not sure. Anyways, thank you again. I would like to invite my next guest, Mr. Karl Mehta. He's an entrepreneur, founder of Code for India, a nonprofit, CEO of EdCast, former White House Innovation Fellow, and a former VC at Menlo Ventures. Karl, I know him for a long time, and our kids went to same elementary school, and you know, he had a startup at that time, and he made it so big, and now everybody around the world in tech knows him, and I'm so proud of him. We were neighbors in Fremont. Thank you so much, Karl, for joining. Please take it.
Thanks, Shilpa, and nice to meet you all. It is a great privilege to offer my tribute to Sushant, although I didn't know him personally, I've never met him. But what I read about him, and I've read a lot about him since I was very curious about his curiosity and a lot of his great work. He was an amazing human being, as all of us know, and with some tremendous talent. You know, three areas that really overlapped with my interest, and I would like to speak about, I think, his contribution to one, in space, second, in entrepreneurship, third, in tech. Space, we all know that, you know, he was always stargazing from his telescope. Now that has become almost like iconic. And I have a telescope in my terrace here, so it was kind of a common interest to see, you know, what he's seeing. And I think his visit to the European Space Agency, his interest in NASA, I think it was all very inspiring. We've actually been part of creating a space alliance in India. So it was very interesting to have someone like him as a celebrity to be an inspiration to the kids and to the youth for exploring the space. And in fact, in India, just opened up the space for private sector. Second thing, on the entrepreneurship side, I think he did a great contribution for advancing or evangelizing women entrepreneurship through Niti Aayog, and that's been very well known. So I think a fantastic contribution and a very, very important critical aspect for India's future. Third area, I think, on tech, I don't know much about you know, some of his ventures, what he did, but I read a lot about his strong interest in AR and VR and AI, and just Code for India, and I just heard about his interest in teaching coding to the to visually impaired people. That's really amazing. So we would have absolutely thrilled as a part of the Code for India community if we would have got some continued contributions from him. So these are the three areas that really inspires me. I think he would have been a great role model for the youth in India, because I can't think of any acting celebrity actor or a celebrity having this kind of scientific and technological background. And what really India's youth needs is these kind of icons and this kind of a person who inspires them and makes the real role model, not just the fake celebrity, but like the real heroes in life. So anyway, I'll conclude that. Think my ultimate takeaway from him is, stay curious. Curiosity is the operating system of the 21st century, and I think he really epitomized curiosity. Thank you.
Thank you, Karl. Thanks so much for all your insight. Our next guest is our SSR warrior, lovely Choubey, a mom raising two wonderful girls, and one of them is a SSRian herself. She's also a speaker today. She's an activist, makes sure her voices are heard. And I'm proud to say that she was the first one to put the billboards in Bay Area and Hollywood, which started a worldwide movement. Thank you, lovely, for joining us tonight. Please take it on.
Hi, Shilpa. Hi, Smita. It's so nice to be here today with all of you and share the same emotions. I always ask myself that why people also ask me that why did you do this, and why now, and why so many incidents have happened in Bollywood. But it's like every time an incident happens in Bollywood, a narrative is prepared and served to us. This time also people were ready with their Twitter posts and Instagram posts. I mean, maybe some of them posted too soon. So, but this time the people chose to reject that narrative. The people didn't take it. The more Bollywood insisted on suicide and tried to sell the depression theory, the more the common, ordinary people like us, we rebelled, we rejected it. I mean, the urgency to label the death as suicide was appalling. The more Bollywood kept quiet, we raised our voices and we put the message. That's why we put the message up on a billboard. We chanted mantras. We tried to be loud so our voice doesn't get suppressed. Everyone, like all of us, we started digging and searching his interviews, his tweets, his Instagram posts, and we realized that he was always trying to connect with us. He always tried to speak his heart out. I remember that interview with Smita ji where he said that the two most important things are to understand and to be understood. I mean, people were shocked that how we couldn't see this when he was around. A lot of us relate to him because he was trying to stand up for the right thing and was feeling suffocated. We can all relate how we lose opportunities if we are not ready to butter and sweet talk our way into things. Everyone connected to him and he became a national hero, a real life hero. He brought the whole country together. We are all feeling that we have a little bit of Sushant in us. Justice for Sushant Singh Rajput became a worldwide movement because everyone identifies with the purpose and there is a shared consciousness among everyone all over the world. He treated his audience, fans, and masses with respect. He shared his dreams and thoughts with us. Today, anyone comes out and lies about him, people share his truth because he put it out there for us. He lived and died for a purpose, and we take it on us to achieve that goal and make his dreams come true. All I can say is he left us, but he left us united and with a lesson.
Yeah, thank you, lovely. And that's exactly why we have this show today, to know the real Sushant, and hopefully people who don't know him can know about him today. And that was the whole purpose. So our next guest is Max Makijani. He's from Bay Area. He's an entrepreneur and a realtor by profession. And I would like to say that he's one of the best percussionists that I know in Bay Area. Welcome, Max.
Thank you, Shilpa, for the opportunity to speak on this platform, and great to be with such panelists here. I want to start off by saying, I was watching a Bollywood movie one time, and there was this dialogue in that movie. It's in Hindi. It says, "इस दुनिया में दो तरह के लोग होते हैं, एक जो सारी जिंदगी एक ही काम करते रहते हैं, और दूसरे जो एक ही जिंदगी में सारे काम कर जाते हैं." So if you think about Sushant fell into the second category of people. I mean, when you think about his passion for studies, his passion for astronomy, the extraterrestrial world, like you just heard, this man made an impression on people. When you watch him, he made an impression on the common man. He made an impression on you and me. And we know him because of watching him in his cinema and watching his career path grow. When you think about Sushant, so he reminds me of a character in a novel that I had read when I was a teenager. It was a book called Fountainhead by Ayn Rand, and there was a character in there called Howard Rourke, who is supposedly an architect in the character. And at some point he realizes that he's learned enough from college, and that, not that I'm endorsing quitting school or anything like that, but he basically realized that the college had taught him everything he wanted to know, and that now it was up to him to go to the next step. So what he did was he quit, and he became the world's best architect. Some of the great entrepreneurs in this world have done the same thing. Bill Gates, Mark Zuckerberg, whoever. I think Sushant was on that same trend, and basically he was on that same path, if you will. He was destined for greatness. He too quit college, and he decided to pursue his dreams. How many people can do that? And guess what? I mean, he was an engineer by profession. So he actually knew how he wanted to do this thing. He actually had a path on how he was going to go to the next step. So what did he do? He knew he wanted to get into acting, so he joined theater. That was the first step. He went into theater. He started acting in plays. Well, he was recognized. His talent was recognized there. So he said, good, chalo ye kar diya. Now, what is the next step? I mean, this is all problem solving skills. When you know where your goal is, how do you achieve that goal? It's like climbing the corporate ladder. And he said, okay, I'm done with that. Let me go to the next step. Well, guess what? He was picked in a role for a TV serial. And in the TV serial, he started his debut serial was Kis Desh Mein Hai Mera Dil. Well, maybe it wasn't recognized as much, but then came Pavitra Rishta, and he became an iconic actor with that. He reached the pinnacle of success there. And then what did he decide? He said, hey, I've done this now. Now it's time to move on to the next step. So guess what? He moved on to the next ladder, next step in the ladder to climb the corporate world. My point is, this man, as an engineer, was able to apply his problem-solving skills to everything he did in his real life. And that is basically what great people do. He started off with Kai Poche, like the common boy, the boy next door, flying kites with friends. What a great movie that was, right? I mean, I never met him personally, to be honest, but I'm talking about what I see that most of our friends and people in the Bay Area look at him as. So he did that. He then went on to his next movie, and he did all kinds of roles. It's not like he had one role or the other. And even after quitting Pavitra Rishta to joining getting his first break, he had a couple years. He knew in order to be successful, he had to train. He took those 2 years to train. He did bodybuilding. He learned acting. He learned dancing and all of that. So, I mean, he had a total strategy on how he was going to do well in life. And then comes Shuddha Desi Romance, Vyomkesh Bakshi. I mean, these are all movies that you see and think, is that the same guy doing all of this? And he's excelling in every one of them. Then you come to MS Dhoni. I mean, this man lived the character. I swear, this morning, IPL has started in Dubai now. I was watching the IPL this morning, and I see Dhoni on crease. And I'm thinking, dude, Dhoni looks like Sushant Singh Rajput. It should be the other way around, but I'm visualizing Sushant standing in that crease versus him. So he could actually live the character. And this is, this is not easy. He totally got into that character. He made it his own. And then obviously there was other movies. Chichore was a big hit. And essentially every role he did was a little different. Everything he did was great. And, we're very sorry to lose a person like that. And that's why, I'll close with one statement. And I think this kind of hits home. कि हर चीज चाहने से मिलती नहीं, हर चीज चाहने से मिलती नहीं, प्यार की कली हर एक के लिए खिलती नहीं, सुशांत जैसा कलाकार किस्मत से मिलता है, सुशांत जैसा कलाकार किस्मत से मिलता है, पर बॉलीवुड की ऐसी किस्मत नहीं. So Bollywood lost out on a great star. So thank you again. I wish the fight for justice goes on for him, and I certainly hope that we all win. So God bless you guys. God bless Sushant, and God bless his family. Thank you.
Thank you, Max. Yes, he would definitely be in another Bill Gates. So the world would have known him, not just people from India. I would like to have Smita share a few insight to what Max talked about.
Surely, what he really correctly said, and it really touched me, कि बॉलीवुड की किस्मत में नहीं था ये सितारा, क्योंकि ये सितारा न सिर्फ वो खुद के बारे में नहीं सोचता था, वो अपने आर्ट के जरिए जिस तरह की उसकी आर्ट थी, जैसे वो एक्सेल कर रहा था खुद को, और अपार्ट फ्रॉम जस्ट बीइंग a Bollywood actor or a Hindi cinema actor, he was so much more that he would have really made the entire Bollywood, if they really valued him at the right time, proud of him, the entire country. And, he would have definitely, gone to Hollywood, which was his, one of the dreams. Because, I am connected to some of the top Hollywood actors who have, there is this friend of mine, who's one of a very, very popular Hollywood actor. And she cried on phone, with me after she heard about Sushant, because she had met Sushant once only. And imagine, when we did this first candle lighting, with Ishkaranji in India, nobody in Bollywood lit a candle for him, and she lit that candle, for his justice and peace of his soul from Hollywood, from London. So see, as ये जो कहा जाता है ना कि जो कहा, before me also, Max, and other panelists who have mentioned that कुछ ऐसी चीजें थी उसके बारे में, jealousy, जैसे उन्होंने notice की. So Sushant actually had realized, of late, कि शायद ये जगह पे मेरी value नहीं होगी. That's why he wanted to, make his own path, which he was doing, by not disturbing or, किसी के ego को hurt किए बिना वो कर रहा था चुपचाप. और जो भी इस तरह की, open insults या humiliations उसके होते थे, उनको अपने मन में रख के, he always would say कि मैं अपने काम से सबको चुप कर दूंगा. That was his motto, कि कोई बात नहीं, सब बोल रहे हैं, मेरा जब काम देखेंगे तो सब चुप हो जाएंगे. लेकिन ऐसा हुआ नहीं, because what Kangna very correctly said, that a film like Gully Boy, imagine, gets all the awards. I mean, is this what you want to give your next generation? That is not even our culture. I mean, that's fine, that's an art form, but Chichore was way too motivating, especially which we want to teach our children, who take so much pressure of academics and future and jobs and so much. So that was a message for the entire society, and the way they had acted. In fact, when I, once I spoken that I had gone to meet him during the Chichore shoot once. And that was the first time मैंने उनका वो get up देखा था Chichore का, with that जो half bald उसमें रहे. And when he was walking, I was looking at him, and Priyanka was sitting right to me. Pankaj Dubey was also there, and they said, "वो आ गया Sushant." And I was looking, कहाँ? And he came, and then I recognized him because of his चिर परिचित smile. So इतना वो discuss करते थे अपने character के बारे में at his age, of the caliber जो उनकी थी, उसमें इस तरह का getup उन्होंने accept किया, being a main lead hero. You see all the Bollywood actors, they play fathers, but they don't have courage to come up with such getup. They will just put a little bit white here and there, and they will still want to look, young. So itna hypocrisy hai yahan par, or they don't understand the depth which Sushant did. So this is absolutely right what he said. जैसे सुशांत कहता था, interview में भी उन्होंने कहा है कि हर एक चीज जो उन्होंने चाही, हर एक ड्रीम जो उन्होंने जिसकी ख्वाहिश की, उसके लिए उन्होंने अपनी जान लगा दी। तभी मैंने उन्हें वो शेर कहा था कि इतनी शिद्दत से मैंने तुझे चाहने की ख्वाहिश की है, सारी कायनात ने मुझे तुझसे मिलाने की साजिश की है। और उनके साथ वही होता था हर बार कि पूरी कायनात लग जाती थी जब भी वो कोई ख्वाहिश करते थे। एंड आई एम श्योर वो अगर होते तो अपने सारे 50 ड्रीम्स बहुत जल्दी पूरे कर लेते। अनफॉर्चुनेट।
Thank you, Smita. And yes, the dreams that Sushant has, I guess a lot of SSRians around the world are trying to fulfill in some way or the other. So yeah, thank you. Our next guest is Neil Banerjee. He's an engineer, just like most of us in Bay Area, and of course Sushant too. Working as an innovation and technology executive, a community leader, and a for joining. Please take it on.
Thanks, Shilpa. Hi. I've never been too much into Bollywood, throughout my life. And one of the biggest thing is what really created an interest in me about Sushant was his interest in different areas of physics and also into how he was writing his diaries and also his method of thinking. One important thing about physics is, as Rahul mentioned, is it's a very fundamental science. And the interest in physics basically does a kind of correlation between matter and light. And when I was looking at the news and also through how he was writing his diaries, I was looking at his thought process. And that really created a very deep interest in me about learning more about Sushant. One of the important things I noticed is his way of writing, his way of putting things into perspective, and it's also if, then, and else. Everything has a kind of a logical end. And that really created a kind of doubt in my mind that a person who is able to think so logically, how can he really commit suicide, which is spontaneous? And that I could not believe. And based on different kind of analysis that I did of all the different videos and interviews, I see him as an introvert person, but with extrovert demeanor. And one of the important things is, to this day, I still believe an injustice has been done to him. And his interest in science, we have lost a kind of a person who could have really created a big transformation in the lives of kids, in the lives of in entrepreneurship in India. And that's what I feel it's really sad. Thanks, Shilpa. Back to you.
Thank you, Neil. Smita or anybody who wants to say something? No? Okay.
You want me to add something?
Sure, if there's something that you would like.
Yeah, about his diaries, because he was mentioning, I would like to add on to this that, every single day he had these large whiteboards in every corner of his house, actually.
Wow.
And there were a lot of formulas written, because I'm not a physics student, but everything he would think, he would put it like a physics formula, and then he would tease us, ye samajh mein aaya, wo samajh mein aaya, and then he would jump around and explain it to us about his artificial intelligence project or education project. Everything he would put so properly. And these were like large whiteboards. I'm sure one of these whiteboard writing video has come out today, so you must have seen how he was putting his future plans. And he used to look so happy, Shilpa, when he used to write on these things, and he used to brief us about these beautiful future plans.
Thank you, Smita. Our next guest is Kakoli Roy. She's a very old friend of mine. She's a technical writer by profession and an amazing writer and an artist. One cannot miss her columns on films as a critic. Smita, when you get a chance, you need to read Kakoli's critics about
Oh,
movies.
definitely,
She
definitely.
beats all the Anupama Chopra or whoever.
I'm
Thank you,
sure.
Kakoli. Take it on.
Thank you, Shilpa. Uh, First of all, I want to thank you for creating this panel at breakneck speed. I think we just spoke about it like 3 or 4 days back, and voila, you've created this beautiful panel of such revered people like Smita ji and Rahul da and Karl and all of these, Neil and Shudipa, Jyotika, all of you. I'm really, really humbled and privileged to be part of this panel. Um, First off, I want to say something because I love writing critiques on movies. I have followed Sushant's trajectory for a very long time. I didn't see him as a as a television artist, but I did follow him from his Sky Poche. And I thought to myself that what a what a unconventional, out of the box actor he is to take a risk on a project like Bomkesh Bakshi, which any other leading man of Bollywood would reject because that's kind of an edgy take where the villain of the movie actually has more chutzpah than the lead actor because Bomkesh Bakshi is still not developed as the full-fledged detective that he is later. He's still fumbling, he's unsure, he's uncertain. And I always come back to Bomkesh Bakshi, and I think that he was onto some amazing stuff, as Karl pointed out, as so many other, as Smitaji pointed out, people who have known him personally and people who have not known him. For myself, I've only followed his cinematic journey, and after he passed, I started, like all of you, I started watching his YouTube channels and videos, and I found out that he actually started a book club amidst all his his super busy schedule. He actually started a book channel called Intoxilectual on Twitter. And if you haven't had a chance to visit, you must visit that. And what an amazing mind, He talks about how theology, biology, morality, spiritualism, yoga, uh, etc. connect. And what does it teach us? What does it want to say to us? These kind of thoughts. I mean, I just have to say he was such an amazing guy, such amazing intellect, such a brilliant mind, those twinkling eyes, that heart-winning smile. So I wanted to discuss a few of his books, and books and reading is something very close to my mind. And I just want to show you a brief history of time. Um, if you so if you guys can see this, this is one of his favorite books, which is also my go-to book. And Guns, Germs, and Steel also talks about technology, talks about, how do you connect the human mind? And he was always talking about E is equal to MC square, right? Which is the most famous equation. But he always said that in layman terms and how he would connect everything to human evolution, to these complex theories. After all, these complex theories are supposed to make our lives easier, our journeys more transient. So, so I do have a list of his books that I'm going to read, and it's The Unbearable Lightness of Being, Sapiens, which I also have. Norwegian book, 100 Years of Solitude, 21 Lessons for 21st Century. You know what it talks about? All of them talk about AI, all of them talk about astrophysics, space travel, condensed metaphors. They seem very lofty. They're actually not when you apply them to our realms of our common lives. So I just want to finish this segment of my presentation with one little poem that was written by Baron Brooke in the 15th century. You that seek what life is in death, now find it air that once was breath. New names unknown, old names gone, till time ends bodies, but souls none. Make time while you be, but steps to your eternity. From here to eternity, Sushant, you will always be remembered and never forgotten. Thanks, Shilpa.
So beautiful.
Thank you so much, Kakoli. Yes, he is eternal. And in fact, when I posted my flyer, few of SSRians asked, why is the title, Who Was Sushant? You know, it should be Who is Sushant? Yes, I completely agree. And I thought about that too. But, you know, I thought was made a better, stronger statement for people to, you know, come into the show and listen. So having said that, yes, he is part of us, although he's gone. Smita, I would like to, you know, ask you to share a few things about what Kakoli talked about.
Yeah, so you know what Kakoli has actually shared today, it's very, very important, not only for us. I know I would like her to share that list of books with me also, because, you know, I would also like to read some of them to understand what he was, you know, reading all his life. I want to give this message through this platform to those people, Shilpa, who don't understand what is Sushant or what was Sushant through these kind of books. Tell me how many people in your so-called Bollywood will understand these kind of books. In fact, there was a video which was shared recently, you know, by Riya Chakravarti and their lawyer to malign him. And at the same time, he was reading, you know, this quantum physics book. Kakoli must be aware of that title of that book. And so many people debunked that you know, you're trying to portray him as a depressed, bipolar, or whatever person, which he definitely was not. And every time people say it, I always, you know, feel like that they are, you know, going to not only regret it, Shilpa, later, because today only this news has come that Riya has accepted a lot of things which she has done wrong to Sushant. She's going to reveal quite a lot of things. So this is a message for those people who are still trying to support, you know, people who maligned him, who are still trying to present this as a suicide or, you know, bipolar theory, whatever it is. I'm sure now nobody in the world who knows Sushant well, or even if they don't know, they will not buy all this.
Absolutely, Smita. I think you're right. And we are all praying for the truth to come out as soon as possible. Although
Right.
we do trust the CBI, they're doing an amazing job.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So our next guest is Devika Sanichar. She's one of the young generation voice fighting for SSR. She's from Canada. She serves as a social worker for high school kids. How amazing is that? At such a young age, you know, she's involved to give it back to this community. Thank you, Devika. You're on mute, so you can take it over now.
Much, and thank you for allowing me to be a part and parcel of this amazing platform. And Smita Didi, it's amazing to see you to be a part of this. So let me compose myself. Like everybody said, and they started their segment, you know, the real question becomes why you? Why do we feel the way we do? And it came across to me that as somebody that is not born in India, my parents are not born in India, but rather my foreparents are from India and they migrated over to South America to where my parents are now born in Guyana, not located in the South American continent. It really came down to Bollywood. I grew up watching it, and being Hindu as well as Sushant, there was a lot of cultural practices there. And where I find the Vika in all of this is the mere fact that, like most of us, when we saw that news flash across our Western screen on the 14th, none of us could buy it, regardless of what we seen or what we didn't see. We knew it was just not possible. And I think for somebody to come across who none of us on the other side might have really met him, to know for a fact that that was not true and it's everything but the truth, we felt that we knew we had an obligation as forward-thinking people with a moral compass. And today I would just like to share, as a young person, that he has 8 years on me. What do I see, and what do I see from Sushant that I can actively apply for my life? And when I think about the realm of education and I think of the realm of philosophy, those two, they go hand in hand. And I would just like to highlight, everybody knows that he bought a piece of the moon. He went to NASA. He was actively involved in trying to do something above and beyond for not only the younger generation, but also for seniors, for people of different abilities, for the armed forces and men and women in uniform. He was there in every right way for every person. He could be there, and you could see a part of him in yourself. And I would say, like many of us know about astronomy and the love of science, he was a solutionist. There was nothing that couldn't be solved by him. He taught the world that there's a solution and it's tangible and it's out there. It's only a matter of time before you find it. And once you have dedicated effort, as other speakers have said, once you go out there with a curious mind and you're excited about life, that's what he did. When he went in front of the camera, he was excited because he was there, he was present. And you could go on YouTube and watch the rest of for those who might not know, and for people watching this later on, if you Google Sushant and you sit down and you kind of comb through it, you will see that he was a person that was so obsessed with his future because he knew money was a big factor. He wanted fame, recognition, the whole thing, his whole formula. And his famous quote of living between 4 to 5:30, that paradigm, I honestly think that's what he left for all of us to try and be a part of. And that alone is a philosophy. For somebody to actively see the world as his classroom, to go out there, to be multi-talented, to have all of these skills, to be curious, to wear t-shirt references, to come on to an interview and use all of this grandiose language, where some of the interviews are like, the interviewers, they don't know what he's saying. They're just nodding and smiling. Okay, I guess, you have a very high intellect. Some videos are called, Meet Professor Sushant Singh Rajput, because they're just like, you're just talking and I'm just listening, and we'll make sense of it when we edit. So that just goes to show he was right there. There was nothing that was hers. His vocabulary is himself. He is his own energy. And you put a topic in front of him and he'll talk about it, either from his own lived experience, from his paradigm, or from what he knows. And as a going, as my introduction as a social worker, that I'm now working with young people, 18, 17, 19. I ask him, I'm like, why? Like, how? Like, why did you stick with us for 3 months? Why? Like, you could have, elevated and be where you need to be, but how do you stay with us? And it's really hard, because a lot of us, I really resonate with those other young people who lost their lives because they couldn't bear the fact. They couldn't bear the fact that if one of the letters, if Sushant did it, I can too. One young woman, she just watched all these films, and her life took a different turn. So the loss of Sushant and the other young sister that is actively involved, that we're all fighting for, Sushant didn't just take one of us, he took all of us. And some of us just could not bear that. And it really goes to show that this is a person where you just have to say his name, do a little bit of research, and then literally move on from him, and he will reveal himself. He will come to you in the way that he wants to come to you. And it's a very different experience. Sushant, maybe for people who didn't believe in a higher power, or they believed in universal laws, because a joke is a man of faith and a man of logic. He saw both of those as being the same. He could connect to how he identifies his Lord. He can say, I know Mahadev on a logical perspective, and I know him on a faith-based perspective, and both of them are equally right. So in that way, you cannot be wrong. You cannot say or sway anybody, because he never did that. And just quickly in a nutshell, for me, being here in Canada, I mean, you know, I've never done anything artistic, went ahead, and I just wanted the world to know. I wanted India to know. I want even my young generation, I want the West Indian community to know that I'm a part of based on my heritage. You cannot forget where you come from. And if you live in India, you cannot forget where you belong. And it's utmost important that Sushant has to live through all of us. And if it's from the north of the polar to the bottom of the end of the world, people will they will be compelled to know who he is. And I truly believe that. And I really pray that, you know, Mahadev guides all of us, guides him. And you know what, Sushant, we all know this. He shows up in his own way. And it's only a matter of time before we see him walking down the road again. Because I sort of got myself a couple times having to do double takes. But no, he's very much alive. And you know what, Canada is always going to be the true north for him. Thank you.
Thank you, Devika. And it was a very emotional speech. So like, as you said, a lot of people ask me also that, Shilpa, I see a lot of your posts are on India, on people from India or whatever. I'm always raising my voice. I think you answered the question. You know, we should never forget where we are from. Of course, I'm an American citizen and I love America as much as I love India. Karma Bhumi and Matra Bhumi, right? So yeah, I hope people understand that. Thank you so much. And Smita, I would really want you to share a few thoughts about what Devi.
She really,
Sorry.
I mean, made me emotional.
Yes, very
Yeah.
emotional.
And I'm, you know, I'm really thankful, Dick.
No, okay.
So sorry. You know, Devika, you have Sushant in you. I could see it. Because at this young age, you've taken up, to something which is related to kids' education. You know, kids at your age, they don't think like you. And I'm so proud of you. I'm so proud of you. And God bless you. And the kind of values and cultures, you know, you're carrying. I'm sure if Sushant would be alive, if he's, you know, here, he would be blessing you. And keep up the good work. Whenever you need me for anything related to education for kids, visually impaired or underprivileged, I'm always there. I'm always there, you know, if you want to do any fundraiser, if you want me to be present, anytime, you know, just feel free to connect with me. And thank you so much for being you.
Yeah, thank you, Devika, and thank you, Smita. Our next guest is Samhita Ray Saxena. She's from Washington, D.C., working as an engineering manager in technology, doing projects with NASA. She has deep interest in sports, just like Sushant, and are very active in community services. Samhita, please take it over.
Thank you so much, Shilpa. I'm so emotional right now. I don't know if I can even speak, honestly, but I'll try my best. Thank you so much for, you know, having me here. It's truly an honor to be a part of this. I want to start with how I got connected to this. As Neil said, you know, I was almost the same, not too much into Bollywood, just because, you know, the craziness of life takes toll and you just don't spend so much time watching TV and movies and stuff like that. But when we heard the news on June 14th, I don't know what happened. I started watching some videos of it just out of curiosity to find what happened. And I started watching videos of Sushant giving interviews. That's when I've never seen a film actor, a Bollywood star, talking about astronomy, talking about NASA, talking about sports. So when I saw that, I was like so moved. And the whole NASA thing got me so connected to him. I almost felt like he was my brother. I felt it was a personal loss. I was so taken aback seeing, I didn't know so much. I wish I knew all of this when he was there with us. that hurts me even today, that I didn't know so much. I don't know if media played a huge role in showing all of that. We truly missed that when he was here with us. I could have connected with her and talked about a few things I felt. So that loss is very, and it will stay with me. I can tell you that. I'm here today to talk about some of his dreams. And I was so fascinated to see how he used to write his dreams in the diary. So all my fellow friends today, I do want to say that he was a man of dreams. He was a man of inspiration. He's inspired me so much that it's beyond words. His soul is so powerful that I almost look at it in a way that, you know, he has small traces of him all across the globe now in form of, you know, you and me, and we are all standing tall. He must have done some stupendous work, you know, that's why we are all standing tall for him, asking, roaring for justice. And I promise we'll continue to do so until we get justice. So coming back to his dreams, I know he had 50 dreams. When I read through some of them, I found that he was so multidimensional. That's why I feel so many people from different, you know, phases of life connect with him, because there's so much into it. You know, he was so multifaceted. So he was like a child, you know, who wanted to visit Disneyland. He was again a child when he wanted to, or somebody who's very humble and simple, who wanted to just go to his college, Delhi Engineering College, and spend an evening with the students out there. He was, if you see, he was very deep and very deep rooted when he thought about going to the Kailash and do some meditation out there. So deep rooted when he was thinking about organic farming. Again, super adventurous, I would say. He wanted to do triathlon. He wanted to do swimming and so much, you know. He wanted to play cricket with his left hand. So I thought he was like fun, although I didn't know him personally, but I can visualize how he would have been. And somebody like Smita ji, whose interviews I've been watching time and again, I kind of feel that I can picture him how he would have been, because most of the times we have seen him on screen. So I feel that he was really multidimensional. So talking about, these were some of his dreams, and many of them were already, you know, being fulfilled. There's one dream which is very, very close to my heart, and that is his NASA project, where he was actually picking up talented kids who had knack for science and other STEM work, and would bring them on to the NASA facility and training. I deeply feel about it, and I feel, you know, I want to do something about it. I want to take it forward because this is just not to remember him. That is, of course, one big reason, but also inspirational to the kids and the future generation. And one of the kids who, this program already started, and one of the kids who came over here even won a gold medal, you know, and they're all from very humble background. And just imagine the amount of inspiration he must have taken back home to the kids who are aspiring to do such kind of stuff. So this is something very, very dear to me, and I want to take it forward. But of course, with the consent of the family, with however they want to do it and take it forward. So having said that, I have something for all my friends watching, the 2 lines for all of us. Somewhere over the rainbow, the skies are blue, and the dreams that you dare to dream really do come true. So we are his traces all over the globe. We can make some of them happen. We can live for him and do them. So that's my best tribute to him, I think. So keeping that, I also want to say, I want to end my presentation saying a few words for my fellow SSRians. There's so much going on right now, so I just thought maybe I should share this. Let them judge you, let them misunderstand you. Their opinions aren't your problems. You stay kind, committed to love, and free in your authenticity. No matter what they do or say, don't you doubt your worth or the beauty of your truth. Just keep shining and fighting for justice, just like you always do. Thank you, Shilpa. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Samhita, for reminding us. Yes, we will do what we believe in, and you know, we will fight for justice.
Thank you.
Smita, did you want to say a few words?
I want to appreciate Samhita because she was the one who approached me that, this is very close to my heart regarding fulfilling, Sushant's dream, since I am close to the family as well. And, Priyanka and Vinay were the two people, Priyanka, his sister, and Vinay, his friends of Sushant. Three of them has actually fulfilled this dream together. It was naturally Sushant's dream, but he had these two pillars all the time. So I'm going to connect with Priyanka once she feels all right. I don't know. I mean, she's still, under trauma, and she is the one who's yet not come out and spoken, to anyone. But Vinay is in touch with me. I'm also going to be talking to these 4 kids who Sushant had sent to NASA in one of my upcoming videos. So, we will know basically what Sushant had dreamt about, and very, very thankful to Samhita to come up with this, because this is one of the most, not that all his dreams are not important, but this is so important. Nobody would have taken it up. It's a lot of work, and she has initiated, and I am really, really thankful to you, and I will be with you in whatever manner you want me to associate to fulfill this dream of Sushant.
Thank you so much. Really appreciate it.
And Samhita, like Smita mentioned, apart from her, you have all of her help, and I can get help from a lot of my friends.
Absolutely. We are in this together.
Entrepreneur, founder of Touch a Soul, a US-based nonprofit. She followed her passion and now a certified yoga and chakra balancing instructor. She's also from Bay Area. Ruby?
Thank you very much, Shilpa, for making me a part of this great cause. And first of all, Smita, I want to say thank you very much to you, because I've been watching Arnab Goswami's debates, and you've been there like Sushant's real good friend and fighting for him. And I always see like how everybody is fighting for him. I won't say I'm a biggest fan of Sushant, but now I can say now I am. I watched his Pavitra Rishta. That is where I think he became very popular. And because his name was Manav Deshmukh, and my son's name is also Manav, so I think I really connected with him. And I want to talk about his Shilpa mentioned yoga, meditation, and like he used to do sketching, because I am very much into that. So I can totally resonate so much with Sushant in all those things. So I call him calm in chaos, because the way he got so humiliated. Now we watch videos. Sometimes I feel like going and really cracking their necks, whoever was doing this to Sushant. So a lot of time you see, and that guy was so humble. I think it shows also his upbringing. He is like from very humble background, his humility, and how going through so much humiliation and everything, he still kept himself so calm and composed. So that shows his inner work. So if you see, it doesn't show much in public domain, like how much he was into yoga, meditation, and he was a bhagat of Lord Shiva. So yesterday I just saw some scribbles he used to write. So I saw where he says a lot of stuff like pineal gland. So I don't know, people in Bollywood has even a clue what is pineal gland. They have a zero clue about that, because they are not on that path. So like he wanted to do transcendental meditation, like third eye. Pineal gland is basically you are awakening your third eye. And he wanted to be in a totally different dimension. And that's why where it comes to play quantum physics. So you can see from his work, you don't have to like the spirituality and divine being he was. There is in our Mahabharata that thing, yada yada hi dharmasya glanir bhavati. So I always say he came on this planet Earth to clean a lot of dirt going on here. So that's why he was such a divine and spiritual being. So for spirituality, it's not like you have to sit, close your eyes, do meditation, or wear some rudraksha in your neck or in your bracelets. It's you are living it. So Sushant was living the spirituality by showing the work. He joined Voice NGO in India, I know, for the street children, for the girls especially, to teach them and educate them. Then he was doing so much other things. I think basically he was here to just to give to the world. It was not about him for everything. He wanted to give to the world whatever he could. So you know, the video that you just said, Smita, to malign him, he was reading a book, Loaded. Right now I'm reading that book, Loaded. So I had that book on my list I bought it few weeks back, but then I saw Sushant was reading, so I said, let me read this book now. If I would highly recommend, guys, everybody read that book. It's out on Amazon. I think people bought, it's out of stock right now. So if you read that book, reading that book can tell you what type of person he was. So his choices, his work, everything reflects. And you also said, like, people try to malign him. So we all know when you spit on the moon, where the spit goes. So, and I highly, highly believe his energy, I don't know, globally we are feeling. So it means he has something divine in him. And why everybody wants to fight for him. Why we feel we lost somebody. I don't know why we feel we lost somebody. Why we cry when we listen to him. Why I just saw Max as a picture of like Sushant. It looks like he's sitting and listening to us. And I'm sure, like you said, people didn't even stop. So people didn't stop their mouths, but look, he's up there. I'm sure Sushant is up there smiling and laughing. I always visualize him smiling there, laughing. Okay, guys, now you see, people have sleepless nights. Even they are not shutting their mouths, they still have sleepless nights because he was a divine person. I somehow feel he's going to come back to shine his light. Whatever way, he has to come back. And I always pray to God, you all have blessings. Even Arnab Goswami, please, whenever you meet, tell him I am a diehard fan of Arnab. You all have his blessings. And this guy, we are like Shilpa, we should say he is. It's not he was. He is still there. He is living in our heart. And I always feel, what is the dream I can fulfill? His dreams. And I'm sure his 150 dreams, everybody is going to fulfill anything. So he and we are feeling so much his energy within us. And you guys, like you, Arnab Goswami, and so many people out there, blessings are more powerful than maligning anybody. So we, to say something bad, it's just like this. We can say anything bad about somebody, but earning those blessings, it's not everybody's cup of tea. So he has earned global blessings. So I'm sure he's gonna win. We all gonna win. We all are fighting. Means I am his fan in a way, very silent. But when I open, the day he passed away, next day I was the first one, took on Facebook live video. Then I made one more. I got lashed back also, but I give a damn to all these things. Like Shilpa knows also very well. So we are where we want to raise our voice, we will definitely raise. And we are always there, Smita. Tell everybody there also, Sushant Singh Rajput is still living in everybody's heart. And thanks to you, hats off to you guys for doing. And thank you very much, Shilpa, for giving me this an opportunity. And I feel so good that we are able to do something for him positive. So thank you very much.
Thank you, Ruby. Very well spoken and a lot of great pointers you pointed out. Smita, I'm sure you have something to share.
Yeah, because she spoke about yoga. I want to share a very interesting incident. We normally used to meet up almost every week during the weekdays or weekend, whenever possible for both of us. So there used to be, messages, calls, etc. And this time it had been almost 20 days. I had not seen him. So I was like, I sent him a message, kahan ho? And he said, farmhouse pe hu, Smita ji, boliye na. And I'm like, my house used to miss him actually more than me. And I used to always send him, ghar bahut miss kar raha hai, jaldi aa jao. So he sent me, main Kundalini yoga kar raha hu. I don't know. I mean, people who are into yoga, I'm not much into yoga. I only can do Surya Namaskar. That's all. So I was like, what is this Kundalini yoga? So he said, balancing the mind and body and, making myself more stronger. And, I wrote to him, teasing him, oh my God, ab to ladkiyon ki aur shamat aa jayegi. And he just smiled and said, no. And he was, so people, I feel very upset when people call him, skirt chaser or whatever. This was the person when I teased him that ab to ladkiyon ki shamat aa jayegi, itne decency se usne jawab diya, nahi Smita ji, ye mere mind aur body balance ke liye aur ye bahut zaruri hai aur main aapko bhi bataunga iske bare mein. Imagine.
Yeah, that skirt chaser comment was really not acceptable coming from such a learned and experienced journalist.
No, he isn't actually. You please remove learned and experienced. He is
Yeah, I
just
mean, so-called, I would say, yeah.
no, he is not. Yeah, I mean,
Just
so there
using
are
it
going
the
to be
wrong way.
cases filed against him soon. If nobody does it, I will do so, because
Yeah.
उससे मुझे सबसे ज़्यादा परेशानी हुई है. During his last few days, Sushant was most upset because of this guy called Rajiv Masan, who had
Yes.
written these blind articles on him, and we are not going to leave him. Sorry.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I tweeted also on that matter.
Yeah.
So our next guest is Sudeepa Bhattacharya. She's a Bay Area resident too. She's an engineer working as a software development director in high tech. She loves art, literature, poetry.
Wow.
All I could say is she has all the traits of a Bengali.
Wow, amazing.
Thank you, Shilpa. Thank you so much. And thanks for making me a part of this passionate panel. I'm going to, discuss another side of SSR, which is his love for poetry. As long as you were, I was. Now just in your memories, I come alive, like a shadow, just a flicker. Time does not move. It's beautiful. It's forever. Now that's a poem written by our Sushant Singh Rajput. Sushant has shared this poem actually on social media with his fans sometime in 2016 or 17. But he has revealed somewhere else that this was his first attempt at creative writing when he was in college. So when he was in Delhi Engineering College, he used to miss his mom, who had passed away a few years before that. And while trying to process that pain, he actually ended up expressing himself through this. How beautiful is that? Now, Sushant never claimed himself as a poet or his ability to write a poetry. He actually shared all his creative writings under a special category called self-musing. Now, what is self-musing? Musing means like a period of, introspection, like deep thoughts. So I think by self-musing, Sushant was trying to convey that when he is doing self-introspection, self-examination, the feelings that come, the experiences that he gets, he just wanted to capture those from a very genuine place and then share that with others through words. And that is why he didn't want to put it in a box or follow a structure. It could be a poem, it could be a quotation, it could be just a conglomeration of few words. So that was our Sushant. I have seen after his demise that some of his fans have actually started a website called selfmusing.com. And there are many other endeavors also. There is a Twitter account, Self-Musing by SSR. But that selfmusing.com I really liked, because on that web page they declared that the goal for them is to collect all the creative writings, all the creative sides of Sushant and document it in one place. They are also documenting his favorite list of books and many other things. The sentence that I liked there, I'm paraphrasing, is that, we want to document 100% of that positivity. That positive energy that Sushant Singh Rajput had, we do not want to get that lost. We want to document it, to pass it on to next generation, or like generation after generation. How cool is that? Some of you may have seen this in media. Recently, I was seeing that there was one more note found in his farmhouse, which is, I think, in that note, I saw it in media. In that note, he actually had a quotation from Saint Kabir. So, Saint Kabir used to write these small 1-line, 2-line poems called doha or couplets, which used to have profound spiritual meaning. Now, it's not that, big thing that Sushant had, used a quotation from Saint Kabir. But the exciting thing is that in that same note, he had actually correlated those spiritual sayings of Kabir with theories of quantum physics. Now that's an act of genius. He was a very good actor. He was a very good dancer. He was a very good human being, and we know he was passionate about science, physics, astronomy. But he was also that person who could connect spirituality with science. And that's not an easy thing to do. And that's why Sushant is so special, so different from others, Yeah, I also want to cover one more topic, which I know it's Smitaji's topic. Actually, Smitaji knows much more about it. It's Lito Fest. It's a premier event that happens every year in Mumbai. Smitaji is the main force behind it, as I understand. She's the founder, she's the festival director. But the connection with SSR is that he actually attended and participated in that Lito Fest, which goes on for 2 days in Mumbai last year in 2019. I have seen few videos of it. And one thing that I found impressive, that he was not present there as a Bollywood star or superstar. He was present there, he was participating, he was there to learn and share, his demeanor was that way. I've seen one beautiful program called Rumaniyat, I think that Smitaji conducted in conversation with SSR. So that was Sushant, he was there absorbing in all the goodness, learning, sharing with others. He spent 2 days in that Lito Fest. I'm going to end this topic with another poem by Sushant. This is also written on his mom. Do you remember? You promised you would be with me forever. And I promised you that I would keep smiling no matter what. It seems we both were wrong, Mother. Thank you.
Oh my God, that last lines were very emotional. I was not aware of that poem. Thank you for sharing, Sudeepa. And we all know Smita is a poetess too. And I would really request if you could share a few poem that either Sushant recited for you or something that he likes what you have recited.
So Sushant used to, always write, in reply to whatever I used to recite. He loved using those, Urdu words because he was then, basically he just started learning to also pronounce it properly. And then, we would discuss the nuances of Urdu poetry, etc. So वो खुद हमेशा एक ये जो 2 लाइनें आपने सुनी भी होंगी इंटरव्यूज में, कहीं रियलिटी शोज वगैरह में भी उन्होंने जाके बोली है कि तुम मुझसे एक बार दिल लगाकर तो देखो, तुम मुझसे एक बार दिल लगाकर तो देखो, तुम्हें खुद से इश्क हो जाएगा. So this was his favorite 2 lines, which he would always say. And this is his style, वो 2 लाइन में जैसे अभी इन्होंने पढ़ी है उनकी जो, this is also very close to my heart because itni beautifully, poetry is not about writing a huge long poetry, it's also about defining or expressing what you're feeling in very, very short lines, like just 2 lines. Imagine, delivering those beautiful expressions. So that's what he was, starting basically. और उसमें वो बहुत माहिर होते जा रहा था. So every time then, we were planning this tour also to America and Canada, bringing Romaniyat to few cities of Canada and America. Unfortunately, I'll never be able to naturally fulfill that dream of both of us, where we both would sit and there would be a grand piano and we would recite, all the big poets and our poetry together. But yeah, I think कुछ सपने शायद अधूरे ही रह जाते हैं. Maybe, I don't know. I mean, I really have no words to express what a huge loss it is to the people who love poetry. And this would have been just a treat for those people, seriously.
Thank you, Smita. Sushant, हम सब अभी आपके चाहने वाले, क्या बोला था आपने? दिल, I'm sorry, मैं भूल गई.
तुम मुझसे दिल लगा कर तो देखो.
हाँ, हम सब
तो
ने
खुद
दिल लगा लिया है. Yeah.
जी.
Our next guest is Manjula Hussain. She's from the beautiful state of India, Assam. She's a team lead at Assam Cancer Care Foundation, a social worker, and has initiated Tata Trusts. Welcome, Manjula. Thank you for being here with us.
First of all, Shilpa, thank you so very much. I was listening to all of our speaker today, and the only one topic is, and our one motto, one objective, that is SSR, Sushant Singh Rajput. So Shilpa, from where I will start, actually Rahul Dada, then Max and Karl, most of them has that covered all the acting aspect of our very beloved, very own Sushant. While I was going through a little bit about the research about all this acting methodology and his journey, many of you have already covered. I will not go into the detail. I'll try to cut it short. He started his journey, everybody we know, right from 2008. Actually, 2006, he started as a background dancer. And of course, he learned his very good acting skills, initially in the Barry John theater group. I think all of you have known that Smita ji is there. I will come to her later on in my concluding part. So his acting skills and acting capabilities, I will not go into details. All of us we know. Many of our previous speaker has already covered. While I was doing a little bit research, again, I want to mention here, Shilpa and all our guests today. There are 3-4 movies, it's very interesting. I think Smita ji will give a highlight later on. There is a movie called Takdum, that is a musical thriller, which Sushant actually he signed 2017 under Dharma Production. Another one is Chanda Mama Dur Se. That was also, that was actually supposed to direct by Homi Ajania, sorry, I cannot pronounce this properly. Then, one movie, Shilpa, that is Chanakya, that is a political strategist supposed to be, to start the shooting and all, I don't know. And one is again biopic of our very own Rabindranath Tagore. And last is APJ Abdul Kalam. And I was quite surprised, this 5 movie, Shilpa, I don't know how it has not happened. I will request Smita ji if she have any knowledge about that. This is all signed by, two movie has already started by the Chanda Mama Dur Se, that is again Dharma Productions. For that, Sushant has already gone to NASA. And he has gone through all his initial training and simulations and all in this space. That we call it a simulation, as per my knowledge. Other 2 biopic, and the third one, he is about to play the biopic of a great athlete, a very unsung hero named by Murli. Later stage of his life, he became paralyzed, that person. So I think all of us, we need to do a little bit of homework. So these are the things which it disturbed me today. I was not aware of all these facts. I know his 11 movies. I have seen each one of all his movies, but this is a very shocking news for me actually when I came to know Shilpa. So that part I am leaving to all of you. And regarding the journey of SSR warriors, I think more than me, Smita ji here, one of my really, what I'll say, a woman of substance, a great admiration, my ideal woman in my life. And I'm so,
Yes.
I'm so fortunate. I'm so fortunate. Please let me say, because this Sushant has made all of us, Shilpa, globally connect with one soul. And that soul, you are right, he is above the sky and he is looking at us. And every time he used to jump Om Namah Shivaya, Om Namah Shivaya. And throughout his life, up to 34 years of life, he was a great bhakt of Mahadev. We call him Mahadev. If I am mistaken, you have to correct it. As a Muslim, I'm trying my best to highlight about Lord Shiva and Mahadeva. And again, I will come to the point, Shilpa and Smita ji also. I was listening to, lovely, and I have written the name, that young girl, Devika. So she really made me a little bit emotional. Smita ji, she made me emotional. Actually, I have done 3-4 pages of research paper that is not speak all my speaker. Everybody's spoken, and Smita ji, she has covered herself. Now herself she is a book. If we want to know anything about our beloved Sushant, just I don't know. I'm too hyper now. I always keep on disturbing her, keep on sending her text in the messages. I'm sorry for that, Smita ji. That connection we have with you, like millions and millions of fans. And I was just speaking to Mahua ji also because I was so tense about the timing, Indian timing. First, I give the message to Shilpa ji, maybe poor girl, she was sleeping. Poor mother, she was sleeping. Mahua ji, she responded, no, it is 10:30 p.m. in India. And I have sent text to you also. How to describe the guy, the boy, the actor, the brilliant IQ, EQ, emotional quotient, and talking about the artificial intelligence. And I forgot. She has spoken so nicely about the yoga. I'm very sorry, I forgot her name. And she was talking about the Mahadeva, the third eye, and how to concentrate with, how we pronounce about the Om. And I think in Islam also, the Om. Om, somewhere I have read somewhere about the Om in Islam also. It is connected. I'm sorry because it's a social platform. Again, my Muslim brother and sister should not attack me. I'm sorry for that, but somewhere I have read about Om, and I really, when I do yoga in the morning, somehow I spell it Om. And last 3 months when I was unable to sleep after Sushant's sudden demise, Smita ji, she knows my conditions, how I disturb her, how I keep on sending texts to her, मैं सो नहीं पा रही हूँ. तो अभी थोड़ा सा ठहराव में आ गई हूँ. CBI ने ले लिया है, NCB हैज हरकत में आ गया है, ED हरकत में आ गया है. फिर भी ये ओपन प्लेटफॉर्म से I just want to say thank you to all these beautiful people, NRI, based at USA, Canada. I mean, hats off to all of you, the way you have displayed the billboard, you have collected the money, you have raised the funds, and you have taken the car rally also. I know all of you work 10 to 12 hours more than us. We work 8 hours. You work, I think, 12 hours. Shilpa will give the highlight. So I don't know to say anything now because I'll be emotional if I keep on talking now. So thank you, all of you. And thanks for bringing Smita ji on this platform. Thanks to Rahul Dada, Max. These are all the senior dignitaries for me. And मेरे लिए तो ये बहुत एक सपनों जैसा है आप लोग में आके. Thank you so much. And this journey, I promise, मैंने शुरू किया था एक छोटा सा Facebook live देके. Smita ji has noticed me and she picked me up. वहाँ से मेरा कब 8,000 ऐसा हो गया, I don't know, and it is keep on increasing. Love you all, stay healthy, and I request Smita ji to say 2 words on behalf of all of us. Thank you.
Yes, Medha.
That is so beautiful. Just the way Manjula ji is, like, very spontaneous, very natural. And yeah, that's true. We connected when nobody was really talking about Sushant on media. I was going everywhere, talking to most of the people who were journalists related to me. I was connected to them. Nobody agreed to speak about him because by then his case was almost over for everyone and for the media as well. I'm very, very thankful that our common friend Pankaj Dubey then connected me to Prakash ji, the chief editor of Republic. And मैंने उनका एक हफ्ते तक दिमाग खाया है. रात को 10 बजे से 2 बजे तक मैं उनको कन्विंस करती रहती थी कि सुसाइड नहीं है, ये सुसाइड नहीं है, प्लीज जांच करो. मैं उनको इन्फॉर्मेशन भेजती थी. शुरू के 2-3 दिन तो उनको लगा कि मैं इमोशनल होके बायस्ड हो रही हूँ. Then he started really taking me seriously. And I think after a week he was convinced, and he also felt so connected, and he told me, Smita, now I feel I've lost my brother, that you have told so much about him. And that was the time when the whole media picked up, and thanks to Arnab that he made it like his own war, and how he's fighting. Amazing. I mean, we really need journalists like Arnab Goswami and channels like Republic. So yeah, I think I'll not take much of the time. I'm waiting for the next panelist to speak.
Yeah, thank you, Smita. Our next SSR warrior is my very dear friend, Jyotika Bhatia. There was a lot of backlashing happening, and I was very upset, and I said, you know what, we need to do something positive. And then Jyotika mentioned, let's do a talk show. I'm like, yes, let's do. And this happened Wednesday, and within 2-3 days, we are all here together. And, again, I would like to thank Smita, Rahul Da, and Karl to immediately say yes to me with not even taking time. They just said, yes, we'll come. Thank you again. So Jyotika, she's a resident of Bay Area, who's an entrepreneur, event coordinator, and a social worker. She's also a very spiritual person, just like Sushant. Jyotika, please take it over.
Thank you, Shilpa. This is really great connecting with you all globally. And that's the beauty of SSR, I would say. I still call him SSR. Om Namo Shivaya. We all believe in Shivaya. Sorry, I'm going to get a little bit emotional too. Just because I met him personally. I was in Mumbai a few years back. And we were staying in a hotel, and there was a party in a hotel, and we got invited. And we went up there and we were dancing away. I'm going to just lighten up a little bit because what everyone is saying, I'm just giving you my personal experience. So we were dancing away, and my friend who's a short film director, he said, Jyotika, there's Sushant. I said, Sushant ko to kal milna hai yaar, aaj nahi milna. Because, I know the ZTV owner, Subhashji, and we were supposed to go meet him next day. It's like, nahi yaar, Sushant yahan par hai. मैंने कहा नहीं यहाँ कहाँ आएगा क्लब में डांस करने के लिए. तो देखा, I turned around. We were coming back in an elevator. And Sushant was there, very cute kid jumping around. मुझे अपने बेटे की याद आ गई. He's also 21. I was like, नहीं यार, ये Sushant नहीं हो सकता. So I came out of the elevator and I said, are you Sushant? And he said, very cutely, with the cutest smile and a glitter in his eyes, he said, yes, I am. I said, I know you, and I was going to meet you tomorrow. He's like, really? And I said, but I know you because your sister Shweta is a good friend of mine. And he said, oh my God, you're Shweta Dee's friend. You're my Dee. And he gave me a big hug. It was just amazing to get a hug from him. And all my friends were excited. It's like, what a down-to-earth star, right? He was just amazing. So I said, okay, Sushant, we'll see you tomorrow. It's like, perfect, Dee, I'll meet you tomorrow. So I went to see him. And in the meanwhile, I came to know that Sushant has a super talent that only 1% in the globe, in the world have it, that he can write with both hands. He has a mirror image he can write. I was like, ऐसा नहीं हो सकता यार, ये नहीं हो सकता, ये फुद्दू बना रहे हैं, स्टार लोग सबको फुद्दू बनाते हैं. तो मैंने उसको नेक्स्ट डे जब मिली, मैंने कहा, we were walking, he said, चलो दी चौपाटी लेके चलता हूँ, आपको ये खिलाऊंगा. I was like little बच्चा, मेरा बेटा मेरे साथ चल रहा है. It was so funny. And my friends were there. And he said, अच्छा ठीक है, मैंने कहा, सुशांत, I challenge you, तू नहीं लिख सकता बेटा. So I was calling him Beta Beta. So he just wrote, and guess what he wrote? Om Namo Shivaya. I was shocked. I was like, oh my God, you are so talented. Then he said, आप मेरे को बेटा क्यों बुला रहे हो? मैंने कहा क्योंकि मेरा बेटा भी 21 साल का है. He's like, no way, दी, आप तो लगते ही नहीं हो. He was just like not a star type, but this just made me like just fall in love with him. Just one day, half a day with him, I just fell in love with this. I came home and then पूछता रहा, आपका बेटा क्या करता है? I told him he goes to Berkeley. It's like, really, what is he studying? He was just wanted to learn everything. कि आप क्या करते हो? आपके husband क्या करते हैं? बच्चे क्या करते हैं? Do they read? I said, तो मानेगा नहीं सुशांत बेटा, I'm also very spiritual. बहुत पूजा पाठ करती हूँ मैं. It's like, oh my God, मेरी sister भी श्वेता करती है, तभी आप दोनों की बनती है. I can't tell you. I mean, you guys all know him, books and everything, but the touch of him and the presence of him. And when I heard this news, I was literally numb. I was like, ऐसा हो नहीं सकता. I analyzed the pictures that were floating around on a Facebook. I analyzed everything. I said, नहीं, ये सुशांत है ही नहीं, उसकी कोई और है. ये है ही नहीं वो कहीं पर और छुपा हुआ है. I literally was not believing all that stuff. And I think in the end, he's with us. He's in our heart. He was what do you call, एक वो क्या कहते हैं, अवतार था जो आया, सबको कनेक्ट कर दिया उसने ग्लोबली, हम सबको, सबके दिल में उतर गया, एक आंख का तारा बन गया वो, और हम सबको उसने कनेक्ट किया. अरे एक लास्ट नॉट बट लीस्ट मैं एक बात बोलना चाहती हूँ. मुझे बोलता था, दी आप वापस जाओगे ना, डिस्कवरी चैनल जरूर देखना, एलियंस आते हैं उसमें. तो मैंने कहा एलियंस आते हैं? ही सेड आई लव एलियंस. बट अरे एक चीज और आप अगर नोट करें, सुशांत का नाम और उसकी मम्मी का नाम उसके अंदर है, उषा, his late mother, उनका नाम सुशांत के साथ है. इसलिए वो हमारे साथ इतनी देर नहीं रह सका, because he was in love with his mom. अपनी माँ से उसको इतना प्यार था कि वो उनके पास चला गया. But we will fulfill his dreams. और जो उसकी 50 चीजें हम करेंगे, सब मिलके करेंगे दुनिया में. And स्मिता, we promise, जितने भी उसके ड्रीम्स है, आपने बोला कि नहीं एक ड्रीम रह जाएगा, नहीं कोई ड्रीम नहीं रहेगा, हम सब पूरे करेंगे. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you, Jyotika, for sharing your personal experience. That means a lot to us. Thank you again. Smita ji, you want to add something here?
It's a very emotional day for me. Shilpa, Jyotika, I have yet not cried for Sushant. And, I'm just waiting for justice that day, maybe. And maybe I will never accept this, that he has gone. Maybe I will, assume that he's at his farmhouse. And maybe one day I'll visit him, So like she said, that he has touched us so much, that his presence is so strong, that his absence cannot be felt at all. And I'm not feeling his absence. I'm just, going through these phases, this ups and downs, the news and everything. I have yet not believed he's not there. I will never believe. He will always be with us, like Jyotika said. And yes, we will all fulfill all his dreams.
Thank you, Smita. Our next guest is Medha Upadhyay. She's one of the youngest real warrior that I know, especially living in US, right? She's just 17-year-old, I guess. She's
18, yeah.
She's a young, dynamic girl fighting for the justice for Sushant. She will be heading to University of California, San Diego to study data sciences. She's also a published author, journalist, and a blogger. Wow. She has quite a lot of achievements at such a young age. And, we can't wait to see your contributions, going forward to the society and to the world. Medha, please.
Yeah, thank you. I mean, it's so nice to just gather here with all of you and share all these stories about Sushant, his passions, his accomplishments, and it really helps us keep him alive in our hearts, And I just feel that we must also at the same time remember that as much as we love him and like we talk about him, we must still remember that he was only a person, and our quest to find all these amazing and wonderful things about him, initially it stemmed out of a need to, you know, prove that his death was not a suicide. Like, even when I first heard the news, I spent like days, you know, like so confused and like trying to find out more about him, because we hardly ever heard about him, you know, unless you really went out of your way to find news about Sushant, you couldn't really hear it. So we all did this like digging into his character in order to prove that, you know, he did not kill himself, that someone that was so self-driven, so motivated, so excited about their life could not suddenly end it. And yet, in order to prove that this crime had taken place, we had to dig into his character. And when we pair that with all the circumstantial evidence that was found, it makes it pretty clear that his death wasn't just a tragedy, it was a murder. And yet, the likelihood of a victim getting justice, it shouldn't depend on the number and the magnitude of their accomplishments, and nor should it be inversely proportional to the number of mistakes that they made. Sushant happened to be an intelligent, multi-talented, kind, humble, amazing person, but he was a person. And his case should be a precedent for all other people, all victims. And we know that justice is not reserved only for college superstars and AI geniuses who pursue astronomy and poetry in their free time and have millions of fans. Justice is for everyone, whether they're perfect or not, whether they're rich or famous or not. And that's what everyone here is trying to say. We're fighting for Sushant because he was like us, not because he was a star and we're his fans and we're upset that a superstar was taken. We're upset because a person was killed. And he deserves justice, as does every other person who was killed, ever. And this case in itself is unfortunately not special or unique. Things like this happen far too often. And so what's special is our response, the response from the public, the people standing up and saying that the culprits must be held accountable for their crimes. And not just this crime and not just these culprits, but all culprits and all crimes, all victims deserve their justice. And so, although in this case, we do join together to share his life and his accomplishments, it's not that Sushant is more important than any other victim. It's just that he was more visible. He touched more lives. More people saw him. That doesn't mean that he deserves it more than other victims or that he is more important or more special. It's just that he was able to touch more people and therefore more people have stood up for him. And yet the goal is to sustain this energy and this fight for all cases, for all victims, and to just make, you know, the world a safer, more fair place for everyone.
Bravo.
Amazing. And
Medha?
I'm sending a hug and a kiss on your forehead. So proud of you. And I'm sure Sushant is so proud of her. He would have really hugged her and kissed her on her forehead. She shows her upbringing. Her parents must be so proud. And she truly reflects what Sushant wanted the kids of the country and globe to be. She truly represents that.
Yeah, Smita, you know, if a child from India speaking this kind of makes sense, not a child from US, okay?
True.
An 18-year-old child, you know, COVID, you know, she was going to college. It's not easy. In spite of all that, she did her homework to say that Sushant was murdered.
Right.
When an 18-year-old girl living in America can see that, I would like to ask people, why is that you can't see? Are you blind?
Right.
Thank you, Medha. That was awesome, and good luck for your school in San Diego.
Thank you.
Our last guest, but not the least, is Mohua Chakrabarti. She's from Chicago. It's also known as City by the Lake, a beautiful city in America. She is a social activist and working as a financial consultant. Mohua, please take it over.
Hello, everyone. I am truly honored to be part of this very special panel today. I've heard a lot of live shows till now in the last 3 months as we got connected from June 14th. Truly, Shilpa, you have brought together a phenomenal ensemble of people from different backgrounds who have touched every single aspect that we know had, Sushant was. So this is a very special panel discussion that we are part of today. I have to say, thank you for making me a part of this. I have to thank Smita for connecting me to these other SS warriors. And I knew Lovely from before and Devika and some of you, Samita, but most of them I got connected through Smita. So, and you have been a phenomenal friend. Anybody would be so proud to have a friend like you. You are just truly, Sushant was blessed and you are blessed as well, of course. Now, as it's been 3 months and from June 14th, most of us got connected to this cause, I personally, of course, did not know Sushant. I wish I did. But just like most of you, I felt this immense pull for him. I am a mother of 2 boys. I also have a almost 22-year-old son. So, and I have an artist. So I have an engineer and I have an artist. I have a singer in musical theater. So I have 2 boys pursuing those dreams that Sushant alone did. So maybe that is the reason I got connected to this. I don't know why. But as you said, I think every household has a little bit of Sushant in them. So I got connected to that. And since June 14th, I haven't been able to sleep. I think it's a mother's heart that, because I said I have 2 sons like that, somehow I felt this thing, this connection, this immense connection. I feel that Sushant, and millions of people across the world got bit by the Sushant bug, as I like to say. It's you don't see this. This is unusual. As Medha so rightly pointed, everybody deserves justice, and this has happened way too many times. We have seen in the past, in Bollywood and other places also. In the last 3 months, we have seen so many. And everybody deserves justice, truly, not just Sushant. But this kid had some power in him. He was God's child, truly, that he brought together these millions of people who started resonating towards this cause and connected so deeply. Because of this cause, I've come to know people like Smita, like Nilotpal, who are, I would say, the voices of all the warriors. Because, and Shweta, I know she has taken a break, but they have been our voices because you had the capability to reach the masses. We are, working in our own modules, but we took your help and you have helped us in every step of the way. You have been very accessible. We have bothered you every day. I have bothered you, and you have been so supportive of every single, and I'm sure there have been so many like me who have bothered you. I bother Nilotpal all the time. I bother Shweta all the time. And they have been so supportive because, we needed your voice in order to function, in order to come together. But through this movement, which is just an amazing thing that happened, we got connected to everybody, not only in the United States and Canada, but we got connected to people in UK, in Middle East, in South Africa, in Australia, who are all resonating together and working for this cause, which is just phenomenal. And of course, India. So having said that, it has been 3 months. And 3 months is a long time for any movement to sustain. But, again, it is the power of Sushant that has helped us continue with full force. I think it's growing. It's not going down, it's growing. So, of course, his personality. So till now, as you guys have seen, all the world has seen, in North America, Lovely was the one who started the billboards. I'm so proud of her. She started the billboard, and then, it continued in Australia. There's a person called Abhijit Markand who took it to Australia. He did it in Australia. And then there is a person called Neha who did it in London. Then we have another person, Abhijit Thakur, who did it in Atlanta. So we saw a lot of these billboards coming up. That was a physical campaign. Now, some of us got together and we wanted to take it another step forward and just blow it into multiple cities all across the United States and Canada. And the reason we wanted that is unless you have a physical campaign towards a cause, the international media, it's very hard to connect to them. And we thought at that time when we started this, we thought, it's very important to reach the international media just in case if, CBI doesn't take over. At that point, CBI hadn't taken over yet. So that was the thing. But now, a month has gone by, CBI and all the agencies are doing a phenomenal job. And we are, I think, much more at peace. And we just need to be a little more patient. Now, having said that, and Nilotpal and Smita, we are doing all these other campaigns also, like Take Food for SSR and Plant for SSR and Flag for SSR. Those are all huge successes. Now, for any movement to sustain for this long a time, you have to have consistent campaigns. You have to have physical and social media campaigns, because this movement is majorly it's a social media movement. So in order to engage everyone and maintain that engagement and the momentum, we have to keep having those campaigns. And we know we are going to have the message for SSR on 21st, and then we are going to have the Sushant World Day for Sushant or something like that on September 29th. They are coming up with the details of those. So, which is all awesome. So this is what the people are coming together and doing, because we feel that a big part of the justice movement that is happening, the people's movement has played a big part in it. And we have seen that. Actually, when Supreme Court judgment came out, if you listened to it or if you read it, paragraph 40 clearly states that the people's movement played a big part, because Indian government feels that in order to restore the faith of the people in the judicial system, they feel that something needs to be done which is very different and drastic and fast. So everybody is saying everything is happening really fast. It doesn't happen this fast. And we truly pray that it continues this way. But like any other movement, this movement also has its challenges, because we have millions of people gathering together from all over the world. We have like any movement, it has its challenges. So I just wanted to point out, and I think this is something that everybody will agree, that there is a lot of news out there, My only request, and I'm sure Smita will agree with me and everybody else will agree, is as an adult, as a knowledgeable and a person who is aware of your surroundings, you need to pick and choose which news to share and which news to first absorb and then share. Because you will be doing injustice towards all the warriors if you share fake news or sensational news. So please please know which is not right and which is not right, and then share what is the right news. We need to ultimately understand that the agencies are doing a great job. We need to be patient, and we need to just understand that they are working. So instead of just asking for everyday masala news, we need to actually share what is the right news. That will help the movement. So I just wanted to end that all warriors around the world, what we need to do is we cannot lose hope. We cannot lose our momentum. We have to stand united and we have to keep fighting together. Together is the key word, with the right intention. And that is very important. Please come together. Let's do this. Let's stick together like a family, like Sushant would have wanted. Because having known him I've been a fan of him, but now having known him more, it almost feels like we are all his family. So he wouldn't want anything other than let's just come together, do it in a united way, in a very positive way, and stick together for justice. Thank you.
Thank you, Moa. I know you're doing a great job on all the movements in America as well as Toronto, Canada. Sorry. So, I really appreciate your hard work, and we are all there to help you with the movement. And I would like to invite Rahul Da to say some few words to end the show. And of course, we'll have Smita also talk later.
First of all, Shilpa, this is, I heard each of you, it became such an emotional journey in last maybe hour plus. I must salute all you soldiers, the foot soldiers, you, Jyotika, and so many people. I mean, Smita, your relationship with him, the way you have elaborated and the way you have put that together, it was something heartfelt. And I have been actually parallelly, I was in a different forum, which is called NRI for Bengal. I was helping our local guy in that forum speaking with some politicians back in India. And Shilpa always have been an activist, so is Jyotika, and so is Max and Neil. Also, I like to acknowledge Manjula, Mahua, Medha, and so many young people out in this forum. I mean, Shilpa, this is phenomenal. I mean, kudos to you. So immaculately done. What I like to share with you is this symbiosis, what you have created, is something is very hard to gauge. And this is just a prelude. It's a beginning. I don't think we're going to see the results so fast, but this movement should be ongoing. It started with Sushant, but it should drill down to all the innocent people in this world where their lives are taken for no rhyme or reason just because of jealousy, plotting, anger. So you guys have done a commendable job, and I'm with you, and whatever I can do within my capability and within my connectivity, I'm always there. And this is so, I mean, I was also in tears with you guys because you guys, each of you have touched me with this subject. And I know, like you guys, I've been doing my little part, fighting with a lot of people. Even I know this guy, India Today guy, the owner of that, Mr. Puri, and his guy, Mr. Sardesai, who's son of the famous cricketer Dilip Sardesai. I had to call him and actually beat him up, and he laughs away. And the good part is I'm connected to the Indian media pretty well, and I know these guys, the owners and the individuals, so I do have access to them and share my 2 cents. But from here, from Bay Area, the kind of feeling you guys have for this cause, and people like Smita you're connected with Manjula or Mahua you guys connected with, is phenomenal. So I wish you all the best. Continue this. This is a revolution, and this got to change the paradigm of what we lived in Bollywood for years. This needs to change. So kudos, soldiers. Let's do it. Let's make it happen. Thank you so much, Shilpa, Jyoti. You guys are great.
Thank you, Dada. You coming on my show. I mean, this is my first show. I've never done anything as such. Thank you so much. It means a lot to me. It means a lot to me.
Thank you, Rahul ji. It was really words coming out of you really means a lot to us. It's a big support to us here in the Bay Area because we are just there, but with your support we can do a lot more.
Yes.
Absolutely, I second that, Rahul Dada. You rock, and thank you for always being there and helping support any cause, whether it's this or anything else. You're always there on the front line. So thank you, boss.
Thank you so much.
Smita ji, please.
I definitely want to thank you, and Jyotika for this beautiful initiative. Why? Because this was so needed at this point of time, Shilpa, while, so much is going on. I think this is the most beautiful panel I have so far been on, which was positive, which was spiritual, which was so emotional, which was just the way Sushant was. And, there was no agendas, there was no politics. It was just pure emotions and information about what Sushant is to everyone, And I would, request you to do more of these things. You all, individually, you all are like, youth soldiers. So if you keep on coming live individually or with a couple of people also, every now and then, I'm sure you all can guide a lot of people, who sometimes, lose patience, like Mahua said. And she mentioned about the campaigns and all. I would also like to add and request all of you from USA, Canada, Australia, and all the part of the globe that we have just initiated one campaign, boycott Bollywood for brand endorsements, because all the brand endorsements are going to these so-called fake Bollywood, either druggies or criminals. They are not even not our real heroes, Shilpa. We want to see real, fresh, talented faces like, those times I had today only tweeted, like we used to see that Rasna cute girl, that Safola boy who left his house because he had a fight with his mom, the Nirma girl, Maya Alag as the Colgate mom, so these are the kind of faces we want to see which reflect us or represent us. So please join us, because your voice, when it comes from the NRI community to India, makes a lot of difference. So me and Ujjwal Trivedi have initiated this on Twitter and Facebook and Instagram, everywhere. So please join us, because if we will send these mass emails and messages and tag the brands, I'm sure a lot of difference can be brought. And yes, as Dada very truly said, that it is a revolution, and this kind of revolution will definitely clean all the dirt and bring all the truth out very, very soon. I want to add also, patience is required. This war is not going to be easy. More hurdles are going to come. There are going to be more anxious moments. Please hold in everyone, because I try to I keep talking to each and everyone who approaches me, but each one of you should take a little part of it, so we all can just keep spreading positive vibes. I know that few people, especially in America, have formed anti-Sushant kind of group. But you just wait and watch, these, because, some news will come within few days only. And I'm sure all these mouths will be shut, because if they cannot understand what Sushant is, they should definitely first watch this video. And they should also wait and watch what CBI and ED and the other agencies will come up. And I'm sure they will understand what we are all talking about. I think we should do it more often. This was a great privilege for me as well. Thank you for inviting me.
Thank you, Smita. Thank you, everyone. I would like to end the show with thank you, everybody, especially Manjula and Smita, because I know it's night for you guys in India. Yeah, thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you, Shilpa, quickly. Yeah, Shilpa, I just want to say, hello, Shilpa. Can you hear?
Yes.
Gigi.
Just a second. Through you, just I want to say that through this, today this video, I am confident and quite sure that many millions will join in this campaign. I'm quite sure.
Thank you so much.
Yes, and thanks to you all and all my senior associates, Smita ji and Shilpa. Great job.
Thank you. Talk in the beginning, Jyotika and I are not any anchor, not professional. when it comes to technicality or anchoring or being in media and stuff, but I wanted to do it, and hopefully,
we'll be doing more, Shilpa. And there
Also,
will be...
one more thing I wanted to add, Jyotika, that no one has rights to collect money on name of Sushant. And I want to request all of you, especially there, if you are donating to anybody, there will be a family NGO which will start soon in name of Sushant. So any dream of Sushant or any work in name of Sushant, the money should please go there and nowhere else.
Yeah. Thank you, Smita.